All right. We will call this meeting of the Palmer City Council to order for October 8th, 2024 at 6 o'clock, at least by the clock everyone can see. Before the meeting, just want to remind everyone to silence your cell phones. Madam Clerk, could you call the roll, please?
Councilmember Alcantara.
Here.
Councilmember Moline.
Here.
Mayor Carrington.
Here.
Councilmember Tudor.
Here.
Councilmember Best.
Here.
Councilmember Cooper.
Present.
Deputy Mayor Anzalati.
Here.
All here.
They're all here, okay. If everyone could stand, and I was going to ask Janet Kincaid, the youngest person in the audience in heart, to lead us in the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
That was a good one.
Yeah. All right. Next is election certification. We're looking for a motion and a et cetera.
Mr. Mayor, move to approve. Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Madam Clerk, could you call the roll, please?
Mayor Carrington.
Yes.
Councilmember Tudor.
Yes.
Councilmember Best.
Yes.
Councilmember Cooper.
Yes.
Councilmember Anzalati.
Yes.
Councilmember Alcantara.
Yes.
Councilmember Moline.
Yes.
All right. And we're going to take a brief pause here. I've got this thing here that says Pam Moline, Palmer City Council member, October 2021 to October 2024. Found an interesting quote for you. You may have to fight a battle more than once to win it. Margaret Thatcher. So we want to just thank you for your service.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, and the clerk got some other things too.
Thank you. That's so nice.
Okay. And we're still taking a little pause here.
Yeah. Well,
Better turn the mic on. There you go.
hey, well, I actually asked them not to make me cry tonight, but they
Sorry.
seem insistent upon that. So, well, just once again, I'm just going to say what I said in the last meeting is that it has been my absolute honor and pleasure to serve this community. Wow, what a ride. We've accomplished so much. I think that our record shows that. I think that we've had a very cohesive relationship here on the council. Some of the things that I'm incredibly proud of, and many of you are here tonight that I've had very open, cherished conversations with, especially as of late. And I think what I want to leave you with is knowing that you unequivocally have my 100% support. I stand with you. I will stand with you. And if you need someone to talk to, I'm your gal. You know, it's interesting that Steve chose this quote. I'm a battle dog. Let that be a lesson. You never, ever give up. Never give up. You're in good hands. Trust your council. They care about you. So with that, I just appreciate the relationships that we've built, and I really appreciate you and value each of you. So, thank you.
Thank you. We wanted to do that right now because she's fixing to leave her seat, I guess.
Yeah.
So we already approved it, but I'll go ahead and read kind of the pertinent part is, be it further resolved that the results of the October 1, 2024 regular election are certified as follow. John Alcantara was elected to a 3-year council member term, having received the first greatest number of votes cast for that seat. Victoria Hudson was elected to a 3-year council member term, having received the second greatest number of votes cast for that seat. So that's what we approved. And I think we get to swear, not at, in, swear in. So I think the clerk's gonna do the honor, and I'm sure Victoria's here somewhere, right? Where's Victoria? Okay. Are you doing them one at a time or both? Okay.
I, John Alcantara, do solemnly swear to support and defend the Constitution and laws of the United States of America, the Constitution and laws of the state of Alaska, and the charter and ordinances of the city of Palmer, and to the best of my ability, honestly, faithfully, and impartially discharge my duties and obligations as council member of the city of Palmer, so help me God.
I, Victoria Hudson, do solemnly swear to support and defend the Constitution and laws of the United States of America, the Constitution and laws of the state of Alaska, and the charter and ordinances of the city of Palmer, and to the best of my ability, honestly, faithfully, and impartially discharge my duties and obligations as council member of the city of Palmer, so help me God.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, we'll go ahead and take a little bit of a recess so we can congratulate people.
Intermission will be everything, your reaction now?
Sure.
What's the intermission?
Yeah.
Thank you, I love your hair. My husband did not.
Say that to me. I know.
So good.
What? What? Yeah. All right. Mr. Alcantara's back. All right. We'll take off from our break. Next is organization of council, election of the deputy mayor. I think on the table was the code reference. Should I read that, I guess? So basically, every year we do this. The first meeting following the regular city election, council shall elect from its membership a deputy mayor and an alternate deputy mayor to serve in the absence of the mayor. Do I have to read the rest of it? Everybody? Okay. So I guess we will open nominations from the council for deputy mayor. You gotta push the button. There you go.
Good. Okay.
I would like to nominate Josh Tudor.
Okay.
I would like to second that.
No seconds needed for nomination, but that's good. Okay. Is there any other nominations? Madam Clerk, I guess we can close nominations, or we take a vote? We'll close the nominations. And you want to take a vote just to make sure this,
Oh, yeah.
we get the count, okay. Madam Clerk, if you could call the roll, I guess.
Councilmember Alcantra.
Yes.
Councilmember Hudson.
Yes.
Mayor Carrington.
Yes.
Councilmember Tudor.
Yes.
Councilmember Best.
Yes.
Councilmember Cooper.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Anzalati.
Yes.
The last time.
Yeah. All right, next is election of the alternate deputy mayor, which is the backup to the deputy mayor.
Mr. Mayor.
We'll open nominations. Yes, sir.
I nominate Jim Cooper to be alternate deputy mayor.
Okay. Are there any other nominations for alternate deputy mayor? Okay. We will close the nominations. Madam Clerk, if you could call the roll, please.
Councilmember Tudor.
Yes.
Councilmember Alcantra.
Yes.
Councilmember Best.
Yes.
Councilmember Cooper.
Yes, yes is appropriate.
You can vote no if you want. Deputy Mayor Anzalati.
Yes.
Councilmember Hudson.
Yes.
Mayor Carrington.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Next, we have approval of the agenda, which includes minutes from the September 24th regular meeting.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
I have a request. I think we can all see that there's quite the audience here, and I know that we've been doing a shortened 30-minute limit. Either that limitation be removed or it be lengthened, because I would like to hear from everyone here that wants to speak tonight.
Second.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Councilman Best.
if there was items to be discussed that were on the agenda, I would not have a problem with that, but because there's no actionable item here for us, I do not believe this would warrant extending it out any further.
Okay. And I think, as I've mentioned in logic, is that if there's a public hearing, then there's, basically it's open-ended for as many people as want to give 3 minutes. But since this isn't, and there isn't it's just audience participation at this point. But, Councilmember Anzalati.
I disagree. I think there's a lot going on in our community right now and they deserve to be heard. I would like to request, if the limitation's not off, that we at least extend it. I would stay till midnight if that's what it took to hear from everyone tonight, but if that's not the case for all of us, I request that it be extended to an hour for each audience participation, and I would like council support on that.
Second.
Yes, Councilmember Hudson. Sorry, trying to remember your last
I
name.
also would like to, it's already been seconded, but I would also like to agree with what Deputy Mayor said. I think it's very important that we listen to everybody that's come today and that we listen to our community with what they have to say.
Councilman Cooper.
Thank you, Mayor. I can appreciate what people are saying. However, I have a question for the attorney. This is in the code that we have 30-minute time limit, I believe, and I'm not sure that we can go ahead and change that at this point. Yeah.
Madam Attorney, do you want to weigh in on this?
May I, give me 1 second to look up the code, but I believe that, my understanding that if council votes to suspend rules, they're allowed to do that. But let me confirm the code, please.
Yeah. Sure. Councilwoman Anzalati?
If I,
Let's
do
let
you
the
want,
attorney, yeah, she
Okay.
was.
Oh, got it. Yeah, that's
Okay.
correct. That's the one I would reference. 2.04120 states, all presentations to the council shall be limited to 3 minutes per person, 5 minutes per group, and also limited to a total time of not more than 30 minutes, unless the limitations are innumerable, in which case the mayor may set reasonable limits.
Okay. Councilman Cooper.
Just a comment back to the attorney. So what that means to me is that it's not up to the council to make that decision. It's up to the mayor if he wants to extend it or not. Is that correct? According to what the code says?
Direct interpretation of just this piece of the code, that would be the interpretation. The limitations, if it needs to be extended, the mayor may set reasonable limits.
Thank you.
This, of course, puts me between a rock and a hard place because I firmly believe that shorter meetings are better than longer meetings. But I will go ahead and say for tonight, we will go with 60 minutes for the audience participation.
thank you.
Against my better judgment. But.
Thank you.
All right. Next, we have city manager's report.
We didn't vote on the approval.
Oh, we didn't? This is true. Approval of the agenda. What's the wishes of the council?
Mr. Mayor, if I may, I would like please let me know, city clerk or the mayor. I would like to propose that we add to new business in the nature of requesting council support and announcing a special meeting or requesting a special meeting.
Second.
I think we usually we would bring that up under council comments, but
Okay, if that's the proper way to do it, I will address it then. Thank you.
okay. All right, did we get a motion for the agenda and the minutes?
Move to approve?
Second.
Best,
Yes.
Councilmember Tudor,
Yes.
Councilmember Hudson,
Yes.
Councilmember Angelotti,
Yes.
Mayor Carrington.
Yes.
Unanimous?
All right, there's no communications, appearance, requests. Next is reports. City manager's report.
Thank you, Mayor. So council has my report. Excuse me, nothing new to add to the report, and subject to any questions on the report from council.
Okay. Is there any questions for the manager from the council? Councilman Tudor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just had a question about the personnel on part 3 of the report about the HR manager. I was just hoping to see if you could elaborate on this. I'm just really concerned about moving these services over to the borough. What is your plan for that, and what is that going to, what is your envisioning for that?
Mr. Manager.
So, Councilor, we're just twofold right now, looking for some support for backstop while we don't have anybody, and ultimately hoping to solidify some sort of an agreement so we always have a backstop for times such as this. We only have one person assigned, we don't have near enough work for two, but when we don't have any, we don't have any. So it's ultimately looking to be able to share some services, some things they can do. Again, until we get somebody hired, it's a position we'll likely always have a difficult time recruiting on and off. So the borough staff has 6 or 7 at any given time, so it just provides us some backstop.
Councilman Tudor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you. Yeah, just to follow up, I mean, is this a long-term idea that we will essentially give up that position as being on staff? Or I'm just trying to get a good grasp on the plan here.
No, I wouldn't make that assumption. I think the idea would be a long-term agreement that we would have support. We'd work together, share services. Again, I think right now is a good example, like having the borough staff to back us up, even if it's for processing actions, making sure benefit things go through, etc. I don't know that it's not something council may want to consider doing that, but I would find it unlikely that we wouldn't want to have somebody here, or whether it's we use the borough, to help us recruit, or if they had somebody who was here. I think there's a lot of options. So we've opened discussion to see what the options would look like. I think the next few weeks they'll get back to us on what they see are possible options they could even offer, and then we'll take it from there.
Councilwoman Hudson.
Mr. Mayor, I had just noticed that there was a meeting, that you had requested a meeting for a tour and orientation with the 577. And I just wanted to request that maybe you and I, or me and another council member, could maybe tag along on that tour, just to make sure that we as a council have a clear understanding of what's going on at that meeting.
Sure, that's actually the manager that was reporting that.
Yep.
And that's
And
clarification on the typo, it's supposed to be 557. But.
okay, and I'm just asking if maybe if you and I, or me and another council member, could be able to attend that tour.
Mr. Manager, you got anything in your car?
Yeah, certainly open from my perspective. This is an orientation that they invited me to. I think most all the other council members, except obviously our new council member, is probably familiar with that. So it's come one, come all.
Okay. All right, Councilman Cooper. Oh, did you have follow-up? Sorry.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Councilman Cooper.
Thank you, Mayor. This is a follow-up of Deputy Mayor's comment about the HR director. Is that job, I know it's only been a week or so, are we in preparation of advertising for that job?
Mr. Manager?
Yes, sir. Yes, again, was waiting for a little bit of input to come back from the borough. There's a couple of things in the job description. I just was trying to get clarification. Are our certifications right? Training qualifications. I think, again, I'm trying to err on the side of making sure that the job description's not too restrictive, and then we put ourselves in the position to have to waive qualifications if we don't get somebody exactly qualified. So I'm just trying to make sure when we cast the net out there, we actually get something.
Councilman Alcantara.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just wanted to tag along with Deputy Mayor to my right. Had to say is that I do worry that the Matsu Borough is the Matsu Borough, we're the city of Palmer, and that Matsu Borough has north of 400 employees. I don't know if they have 6 or 7 in their HR department. I'd be surprised, but as far as number of hires and number of things they have going on, I wouldn't want necessarily the Matsu Borough HR to be getting first dibs, if you will, at potential employees. And I think a smarter avenue might be temporary HR help, if I hire a temp agency to fill us in and not kind of rely on the borough. I'm obviously not part of those meetings and discussions, but first and foremost, I'd be surprised if they have 6, 7 people in their department, and even if they do, they're averaging about the same number of employees that we have at the city of Palmer. So I'd say proceed with caution and maybe give yourself a additional backstop.
Okay. Councilman Best.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I concur with the assessment that looking towards contract services, something like that, temp for the HR would be something I think would be something that'd be great to come before council. We've talked about it in kind of passing in the years past about some services that we might contract out. I think this might be one of those times that the situation will cause us to have to go down that path.
All right. No other questions at this time. Next we have Mayor's report. My report's in there, and I was just going to point out there's a letter of support was requested from the Kinnick Tribe for culvert replacement grant, Talkeetna Spur Road. I know this is one that the borough manager and mayor have done a letter of support. I think I outlined in my report. It's I find it kind of interesting and oddly appropriate that they should be, the Kinnick Tribe could be helpful in monitoring culverts that would allow good salmon to come through, etc. So if there's no objection from council, then I will send off that letter. Is there any questions for me for my report? Okay, City Clerk, did you survive?
I survived the election.
All right.
We all did. That's all I have to say.
Is there any questions of the clerk from the council? Just congratulations, you survived. All right, city attorney's report.
Good evening, all. If you'll bear with me a moment. Due to the urgency of rapidly evolving legal concerns within the city, I have sent today a situational report to the city council members, and I will now read it for the public. To Palmer City Council, it is my duty to report the dangerous position the city of Palmer is in. The city manager is systematically dismantling all the checks and balances established by the city charter and city code. In a few weeks' time, he has acted as and appointed himself the roles of city council, city attorney, HR manager, and effectively acting as the chief of police, chief of fire and rescue without any of the required training, licensing, experience, or authority granted to these positions. He has appointed himself as human resources manager. He has prohibited the department heads and city staff from speaking with the city's legal counsel. He has barred staff from speaking with their elected officials. He has forbidden staff from speaking to other staff about their concerns. He has blocked the city attorney from providing legal services for Palmer unless they are approved by him and not city council. This is in direct conflict with the city code and with the directives that I have received from the city council. He has thwarted the city's legal counsel and engaged in communication with opposing attorneys on active legal matters that I have been working on without consulting the city attorney. He is implementing policy without legal input and without approval by the city council. The city manager is not allowing the city attorney to review the policies of the city of Palmer. Instead, he is reviewing them and implementing new ones as he determines. This is in direct conflict with the directives that the city council has given the city attorney. For example, I am unable to provide you with a parking report because the city manager has banned the staff from speaking with me and prohibited me to speak to the staff without his direct permission. This is a violation of the directive the council has given to me. He has placed himself in a position of censoring and being the sole authority to determine what the relevant legal issues are, what the legal strategies are, and what constitutes legal liability for the city of Palmer. I cannot provide any legal counsel or protection to the city of Palmer under the policies that have been unilaterally created by the city manager. The entire purposes of the checks and balances established in charter and code is for the role of city attorney to work directly for and under the direction of the city council. This is being thwarted and eliminated by the city manager. For example, the city attorney needs to have direct communication with the police department. This is a matter of public safety, criminal prosecution, chain of custody for evidence issues, records reports, investigations, and I facilitate communication with the Alaska court system, the district attorney's office, and various law enforcement officials. This is systematically and specifically being targeted and eliminated by the city manager. Additionally, he is threatening to deny invoices for legal work done on behalf of the city unless he improves the content, the legal findings and determinations, the legal strategy, with whom and how I speak. This fully eliminates my ability to work and to get uncensored information and dates as requested by the city council. I believe these are intimidation tactics, and censorship and control is retaliation as a result of my warnings to the city manager not to retaliate and terminate the treatment of staff on medical leave, as well as because I have refused to provide him sole confidentiality for those actions. He asked me not to share anything related to these potentially legal actions to the city council, and I refused. This is highly abnormal management behavior, and it is 100% an intimidation tactic. In employment law, a manager, a CEO, or a president of a company must have a safe avenue for. This is not a matter of conflicting management styles and disgruntled employees and/or contractors. The city manager's actions are causing significant legal liabilities and opening the city to a plethora of lawsuit possibilities. He has refused legal counsel and acted against legal recommendations. This is just a sample of the harmful conduct. There are significant multiple other legal concerns and violations that are being caused in other departments. I am highly concerned and legally obligated to tell you about the rapidly growing legal liabilities. He is potentially violating employment law, constitutional rights of employees, and opening up avenues for both criminal and civil lawsuits. This has escalated to the point that I have no other choice but to sound the alarm. I am obligated to warn you of the significant legal consequences and imminent threat that this poses for the city of Palmer. Respectfully submitted, Sarah Heath, City Attorney for the City of Palmer.
So I'd like to ask the attorney with the council's concurrence to prepare a list for us of the different direction that we have given her. So that we can sit down, and I think we're gonna set aside a time where we can have a meeting with our, well, I call them the big three, the clerk, the manager, and the attorney all work directly for the council. So if there's no objection for council, I was gonna ask that of her to prepare that list for us. Is there any questions from the council for the attorney? Council member Alcantara.
First off, thank you for your letter, but Mr. Mayor, are you suggesting an executive session or into the future, or when are we gonna have this list prepared and meet?
My understanding is she can probably prepare, because this would be a list of direction we've given in public session, so it should be fairly quick for her to prepare it, and then I'm sure we can find time for another meeting, but yeah, I'm not sure if it could easily probably go into executive session, but we'll have to check with that. Councilmember Tudor, or Deputy Mayor Tudor.
That's good. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you. I know that was difficult to have all that, and it's difficult to speak in front of this crowd, and it's been amazing that you were able to say that. Would you be able to elaborate a little bit on the intimidation tactics that you mentioned, or even, go ahead.
Yes, Councilman Best, your point.
Mike.
Yes, use the mic.
We are talking about potential situations where the city of Palmer might have to defend itself or positions of the city, the entity city, not as individuals, but the entity city. And right now, this is not the time or place for us to be discussing this. This is where it is executive session. I'm actually very disheartened that this information has come to us in this manner, because there is appropriate ways to deal with this, so that when the body, city, has to defend itself or defend its employees, that there's legal actions that we are supposed to be taking in a very particular manner. So to discuss this right now, I think we are way out of line.
So, Councilman Tudor?
If I may, Mr. Mayor, I am asking the city attorney. So I would imagine anything that is said is coming from our attorney.
Yeah, but you're talking about the city manager, so.
Yeah, and I don't mean to disparage anybody. I'm
okay.
Just making sure that everything's public. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay. Councilman Cooper.
I just want to reiterate what Councilman Best had to say. I think this is totally out of order. I understand the questions, I understand the comments, but one, it's not on our agenda, and two, that when you start talking about individuals, that it is a requirement that we go into executive session when we do that, and it's not at this point meant for the public. So I would think that any further questions regarding this report are out of order.
Okay. Well, we will move on then. Next is audience participation. Council meeting rules protect your right to testify and be heard even if others in the room disagree with you. Council meeting rules also ensure that those attending can express their views if they do not interfere with the rights of others to see and hear the proceedings. At all times, order and decorum will be maintained in keeping with the civility and dignity of the legislative process. Please be respectful during audience participation. No disruptions to city business or threats of any kind will be allowed. Individuals who cannot follow these guidelines will be removed. Any threats against others could result in criminal prosecution. And then please sign in, state your name, and there's 3 minutes per person. Yes, a list. Okay. Who do we have first? Is Matt Moore? What's that?
Robertson is my last name. Tom Robertson.
Yes.
May I?
Okay.
I apologize for cutting in corners.
Okay.
One thing I need to ask.
And sorry, what was your name? Was Robertson?
Robert Robertson, Roberson.
Okay, thanks.
I need to ask a favor, and forgive me, I don't mean to be rude. It's real hard to hear people when you're talking,
And Jim, I don't mean to be rude, but it'd be helpful a lot. A lot of the comments you made need to be closer to the mic, if you would, please. Thank you for your help. Again, I come here for the past 3 months. I've been working on a letter of support for the state of Alaska to build what I call emergency fill station for fire trucks at mile 37 of the Glen Highway. It's currently under construction. And I've been working with the state as well as the borough and the city here. I would like to have a pullout off the shoulder so 2 fire trucks can pull off the shoulder, fill up with water, turn around safely, and come back on the highway. You would think sitting alongside the shoulder would be a safe place with all the lights on a fire truck, but that doesn't always work. It's by far safer to move completely off the shoulder of the road and where they can turn around, do whatever they have to do, and come back on the highway. I've been working on this for 3 months. Mile 37 is where the Glen Highway is under construction, and there's a water main that comes from the city underneath the road and goes to the hospital. It's an ideal place for fire trucks to safely fill up off the highway. So, and when I was with the Nikiski Fire Department, we did have a firefighter hit alongside the road. He wasn't killed, thank God, but we lost 2 positions because most firefighters like me were EMTs as well. So you lose 2 positions, not only a firefighter, but an EMT. And so I bring that to your mind. I keep saying it. I can't scream it loud enough. I do not want to see a read about a firefighter killed alongside the highway. As the road improves, the speed's going to improve, the danger's going to increase, and it's more likely that somebody could possibly get hurt or killed, and that's what I don't want to see. I'm not only I was a fire instructor at the community college, I went to the State Trooper Academy to be an EMT instructor, so I know what causes accidents and I know how to prevent them. And I'm here to prevent an accident. I think I just can't say it loud enough or often enough. I do not want to read about a firefighter being killed in the line of duty on the shoulder. I mean, you wouldn't think that's happening. And I also mentioned this when I was with Chugach Fire Department. The ambulance couldn't go by itself. Ambulance alongside the highway had to stop here, and if we had to have a tanker truck blocking the ambulance to protect the ambulance, so people, you would never think that people couldn't see an ambulance with all the lights, but people would still crash into the ambulance if you didn't have the tanker truck behind it blocking them.
That's your time, sir.
I guess I'm done. Thank you anyways. Thank you for letting me sneak out in here.
All right. Yes. Thank you, everyone, for allowing me.
I'll sneak back out.
The man with the cane.
Thank you.
Matt Moore.
Thank you, Matt.
Please start with your name, sir.
Matt Moore.
Go ahead.
Honorable council members, Mr. Mayor, all concerned citizens in attendance tonight, thank you for the opportunity to address you this evening. My name is Matt Moore. I'm a 2.5-year veteran of Palmer Police Department, and I currently serve as one of 3 detectives assigned to this agency. Prior to this career, I served 20 years with the United States Air Force. My entire adult life has revolved around service to others. My entire life motivation is to leave every place in which I work better than when I initially arrived. In my employment with the City of Palmer, I've come to respect the integrity and honor with which our City Council operates. I come before you now, alongside my colleagues, as a whistleblower. I implore you to find the moral courage to hold Stephen Jelly accountable and save the great City of Palmer from ruin. Ruin which is guaranteed should this man be allowed to continue the path of absolute, unadulterated destruction he's laid before all of us. Without swift and decisive action, Stephen Jelly will undoubtedly continue to slash our resources, silence all dissidents, violate employee rights, and ultimately place the good people of Palmer in a position of dire need and vulnerability. Already he's asked that our training capabilities, as well as any other agencies who utilize our range, be diminished by not allowing Department of Public Works to plow our dedicated firing range during winter months. This will limit our firearms proficiency training to approximately 6 months out of the year. He's directed our chief to slash our vehicle inventory, effectively eliminate the home car program. This will absolutely increase response times, overtime hours, and burden all employees of the department. Eliminating these vehicles also removes our capability for a crime scene evidence response vehicle, evidence transport vehicle, and even our ability to move our speed cart from location to location. Furthermore, there are times when officers respond to critical incidents directly from their home. Our city should not plan for active shooter and mass casualty incidents with a what-if mentality. Instead, it should always be planned with a when it happens mentality. Our city cannot accept the liability of a delayed response to these situations. It is in these exact scenarios that mere seconds can and do save lives. These concerns I've already voiced are very minor regarding the big picture of what this man is attempting to do to our city. Never in my 23 years of civil service have I encountered one individual so dead set on leaving a wake of destruction behind them. This man has, within a single month, proven to everyone that he does not have the best interests of Palmer or its citizens in mind. He has one goal. That goal is to destroy the foundations this city was founded on and leave us picking up the pieces while he collects yet another severance package and moves on to the next unwitting victim. I thank you for your time this evening, and I charge you to do what is right. I ask the council place Stephen Jelly on administrative leave immediately, set an executive session to investigate his actions more thoroughly. My colleagues will speak to you with concerns that have been outlined in the letter that I know you have all received. I humbly ask that you listen and value their input as if our city depends on it, because it does.
All right, Kristen Acosta. And please keep applause to a polite level. Thank you.
My name is Kristen Acosta. I've been a 911 dispatcher for almost 11 years. Ooh, sorry. I started my career as a 911 dispatcher in Texas. I worked at MATCOM for the first few years after I moved to Alaska. I have now been at the Palmer Police Department for nearly 5 years. The Palmer Police Department and Dispatch Center, since I have been employed, has been an overall harmonious group of city servants working together for the citizens of Palmer. My coworkers and I have dedicated countless hours away from our families. We've missed birthdays and holidays, work nights and weekends, and have always strived to serve the needs of the citizens of Palmer, both in crises and everyday situations, the way we would want to see our families served. In less than 1 month of employment, City Manager Jelly has bluntly stated that he wishes to completely dissolve the Palmer Dispatch Center and attempts to have MATCOM take over the dispatching needs of the City of Palmer. After working at multiple agencies, I have honestly can say that Palmer Dispatch has been able to provide unparalleled service to both the residents and patrons of the City of Palmer. At MATCOM, this type of service is severely limited due to the call volume, staffing, and overall amount of agencies they have served. Manager Jelly seems to be under the impression that Palmer dispatchers can just go over to MATCOM and fill the open vacancies that they currently have, but fails to understand that the open vacancies at MATCOM are to meet the needs of the current agencies they serve, which does not include Palmer. I personally have never had any interactions with City Manager Jelly, and he may not even know that I exist, but I have witnessed the severe distress that has overcome our department in the single month of his employment. We have had several coworkers in fear of losing their jobs and livelihood leave our department to go work for MATCOM, many of which would never have considered leaving their employment at Palmer if it weren't for the aggressive tactics of City Manager Jelly. One of the many alarming actions Jelly has taken is to completely shut down all communications between the dispatchers and our immediate supervisor, as well as demanding that we are not allowed to contact our HR department. The citizens of Palmer have had the benefits of living in a small town with local priority service. If City Manager Jelly has his way, the citizens of Palmer will be waiting in line behind the whole Matsu Borough. My hope is that you will not allow the citizens of Palmer to be put on the back burner. I ask that Jelly be put on administrative leave and his conduct be investigated. Thank you.
Hillary, I'm not sure how to say your last name. So please start with your name.
Good evening. My name is Hillary Arden Shorter, and I'm a homeowner in the city of Palmer. For over 15 years, I have served in the Palmer Police Department, first as a police, fire, and EMS dispatcher, and currently as the evidence and records technician. I'm here before you today alongside my public safety colleagues as a concerned whistleblower, committed to the safety and well-being of both the citizens of Palmer and my own health and safety. I wish to express my serious concerns regarding the critical understaffing of our dispatch center and the refusal of Manager Jelly to fill these vacant positions. This situation poses significant risks, not only to our residents we serve, but also to our dispatchers and law enforcement officers. The manager's report presented this evening inaccurately states that these resignations of 3 out of 6 dispatchers create an opportunity for earlier consolidation. In fact, no dispatchers applied to MATCOM until it became clear that consolidation discussions were taking place without the knowledge or involvement of Dispatch Supervisor Daw or Chief Shelton. Additionally, individuals have reported being threatened with termination for communicating with the City Council or the City Attorney. Our human resources representation has effectively been eliminated, with Manager Jelly assuming that role. Under his directives, communication must flow through our direct supervisor, severely limiting our ability to address pressing concerns. Furthermore, Chief Shelton has been directed to liquidate 7 of our police vehicles and transition to a fleet system. This includes the administrative vehicle that I use to transport evidence to our off-site evidence facility and the crime lab in Anchorage. This vehicle is also essential for crime scene responses to major incidents. Not having an administrative vehicle increases the city's liability regarding the transportation of drugs and biohazard materials. When Chief Shelton inquired about the vehicle I would use instead, Manager Jelly responded, "Whichever one you assign." There is not another administrative vehicle. As a civilian employee, I cannot operate a fully marked police vehicle for multiple trips to Anchorage each week. Additionally, our evidence storage facility is not located in the police building, necessitating daily transportation of evidence to and from the police department. I've heard some members of this council advocate for allowing Manager Jelly a chance to prove himself in Palmer. However, the troubling track record from other locations, including Jackson Hole, Ogdensburg, Aberdeen, Fort Drum, and Watertown, raise serious concerns. I urge you to take immediate action to place Manager Jelly on administrative leave, initiate a thorough and independent investigation, and convene an executive session. I believe that you will find just cause to terminate his contract. It is my sincere hope that the council acts decisively to prevent further deterioration of our community's safety and infrastructure. If you do not act, you may expose the City of Palmer to millions of dollars in potential lawsuits. Once 9G Base is gone, Palmer Fire is dismantled, dozens of police and fire and public works vehicles are liquidated, employees are laid off, terminated, or resign, it will be impossible to reverse the significant damage to our infrastructure and liabilities.
Mr. Virginia Calvert.
My name is Virginia Calvert. Councilors, Mayor, imagine waking up every day, kissing your family, telling them you love them, and never coming home again. That's what my brothers and sisters and I do every day. I'm currently employed by the City of Palmer and have been for the last 10 years. I've served in both roles, police dispatcher and a police officer. I'm currently assigned to Colony High School, Colony Middle School as their school resource officer. I've stood before you before, but only in praise. I'm now standing before you with a plea to save our little town. When I heard that Manager Jelly was attempting to dissolve 9G Base, I was consumed with fear. Fear who might be on the other end of the mic should I call for help, which I've done before. Fear the citizens of Palmer will be impacted more than they will ever know or realize. Fear that I am losing my family. When seconds count, we deserve the best. And that is what 9G Base is, the best. In Jelly's short time here, he has caused not just waves, but a tsunami. One huge wave that's goal is to wipe out our city, as he's previously done. Take a look around me. I am surrounded by the people of Palmer and those who serve Palmer. The people we all took an oath to protect. I believe you all will take a step back and reflect on the last 30 plus days that Jelly's been the manager and see his intentions are not to help our small town thrive, but to destroy everything and everyone he can leave, then leave with a check. Do the honorable thing and place him on administrative leave and investigate the claims brought against him. Listen to your people. I encourage you to have an outside agency conduct a background check as well as make sure he's conducting business legally and ethically. As we all stand before you, know it took courage. I'm asking you to find the same courage in doing what's right. Thank you.
Keith Barkwood.
Hello, Keith Barkwood. Greetings, council and citizens. I'm K. Andrew Barkwood. I'm your school resource officer for Palmer High School. 45 hours and 51 minutes ago, I awoke in Avamore, Scotland, and I've only had airplane naps since that time. I'm addressing you now in this condition of extreme sleep deprivation because the matter I'm going to discuss is of vital importance. I come before you today to address the concern I hear regarding the termination of the home car vehicle program. The home car program is essential for public safety of the citizens of Palmer and the surrounding area. Before I get to the details of that statement, let me first outline a few of the unseen concerns, the unseen benefits of the home cars. It is a known fact, officers who take their cars home foster a sense of pride of their vehicles. These vehicles are essentially our offices, and the feeling of ownership results in vehicles which last longer than comparable fleet vehicles. There is also a cost savings associated with home cars. Officers using fleet vehicles incur donning and doffing overtime hours. This is the time prior to and after each shift when the officer must remove essential equipment from the fleet vehicle. At a minimum, officers would incur an hour or a half hour on each end of their shift. I'd like to go on record now and say that I have the best students in Alaska at Palmer High School. When I walk the halls of Palmer High, I see kids treating each other kindly and behaving properly. Is this the reality? Probably not. I walk around those schools in a bubble of modified behavior. Well, how does that tie into home vehicles? Well, the presence of a home vehicle in a driveway creates a bubble of modified behavior in a neighborhood. Just parking a car creates a community with less crime. When I introduced myself to my new neighbors, they said to me, I bought this house because I saw your car in the neighborhood and I thought it would be a safe neighborhood. These two previous points, while they're important, they're not what concerns me most about the termination of the home car program. While fleet vehicles may work in large southern cities with massive amounts of officers on duty, it is just not reasonable here in Alaska. It is of the utmost greatest importance that we have as many law enforcement officers able to immediately respond to emergency situations. During a major incident, all off-duty officers will be called in to assist the threat. And the thought of an officer passing an incident to go get a car to then come back, it's just incomprehensible to me. As your school resource officer, I constantly think and prepare for an active shooter event in one of my schools. I strongly hope you do not allow a policy change which could affect the safety of our students. No cost saving is worth the life of one child. Each of these home cars also is a mobile response center, and having these cars placed around our community makes us safer. Thanks for your time. I'm going home to sleep.
Good idea. Whitney Daw. Oh, sorry, Dwayne. Sorry, Dwayne Shelton.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the council. I'm Dwayne Shelton. Effective at 3:42 p.m. today, Mr. Jelly placed me on paid administrative leave. I received the written letter at 5:45 p.m. He ordered me to turn in my badge and gun, threatened to have me arrested by the state police. I believe this is a retaliatory action because I brought forth public safety concerns and employee rights regarding significant policy changes he is implementing. For the sake of time, I will mention one. I'll keep it brief because Keith did a fantastic job talking about it already, and it had to do with getting rid of our home car program. he hit it on the point that when the officers respond to an active crime in progress, whether it be a school shooting, they have to drive past that school to, in most cases, to get to their car, to warm it up, thaw it out, to then go back and take care of the situation. We operate differently in Alaska than what we do other agencies, other police departments down in the south. We can't be compared to them. You all have all been given documentation outlining the gravity of the predicament you are in. I swore an oath to protect and serve all people in the state of Alaska, particularly the city of Palmer. I do not take this oath lightly and have served willingly and unwaveringly for the past 25 years here in Palmer. In 45 days, Mr. Jelly has all but undone the public safety fabric of our society that you guys together with the citizens and the employees of Palmer have woven. We have strived hard to make this place Alaska at its best. That is not his intent. Thank you. Mr. Mayor, there are 30-plus people over at the fireplace that want to speak that have not had a chance to write their name down. Would you please have somebody take a sign-up sheet to them? If you want to give it to me, I'd be happy to take it to them.
Yeah, we'll be taking a break here pretty quick.
Thank you.
Whitney Daw.
Hi, I am Whitney Daw. Some of you guys might know me, some of you guys might not.
William, would you pull the mic a little bit closer?
Yes.
There you go.
Is this better? Okay. Counselors, my name is Whitney Daw, and I've spent the last 10 years of my life working for Palmer as a dispatcher and more recently as the dispatch supervisor. I watched as the PSAP contract fell through to MATCOM and stayed loyal to the city throughout all of the ups and downs. 2 years ago, I applied for the supervisor position, not because I wanted to, but because I knew it was the best chance for success for my center. In those 2 years that I've been running our center, I've fostered an incredible team and become extremely protective over those employees who have dedicated so much of their life to this occupation. To some of my employees' disagreement, I've also worked progressively toward a much friendlier relationship with MATCOM than once was in years past. I've done this silently, and I've done this at the expense of my family because Palmer PD is an extension of my family. I had a baby on September 8th. I worked it out with Elizabeth to work from home for certain things that I didn't want to inundate my delegate with. Prior to the 8th, I'd been privy and at the time I didn't think much of this as our city holds other contracts with them. Once I had my baby, I heard much more direct statements from employees in both Palmer and neighboring agencies about Manager Jelly dismantling dispatch and conducting additional meetings. When I asked why, I was told, in insincere professional terms, to shut my mouth. Jelly ordered me and continues to order me not to speak to anyone inside the city about dispatch. The same dispatch that I've dedicated my life to for the last decade. The same dispatch that I've sacrificed so much time for. During what should be a joyous time with my newborn and family while on maternity leave, I've been dealing with the stress of uncertainty surrounding whether I will have a job or a dispatch team to return to. The stress had led me to spend multiple days each week in and out of the hospital managing hypertension, something that I've never dealt with before. You all are not powerless. Put this man on administrative leave and investigate this. You owe this to your city and your people.
Probably have to do this way. Good evening, Mayor and members of the Palmer City Council. My name is Cindy Rao, and I serve as the Department and Responding Chaplain for Palmer Fire and Rescue. Tonight, I'm speaking on my own behalf under the protection of the Whistleblower Act. I want to begin with thanking you all for your honorable service, and I recognize how hard it can be at times. Imagine even tonight is pretty hard for all of you, and I do appreciate you all being here. I come to you with grave concerns for our police department, fire department, our 9G-based dispatch, and our community. The first concern I want to address is the stress, and we've been hearing a lot about that already from the public statements and testimony tonight. We also have low morale. Our responders are now experiencing since the hiring of Mr. Jelly as city manager. It's common knowledge that police and fire dispatch experience high levels of job stress. Every time they respond to a call, they willingly put themselves in harm's way for the sake of their community's life and safety. In the first 30 days of Mr. Jelly's tenure, our responders and dispatchers have experienced a marked increase in their stress levels. You couple that with the daily stress of their jobs, and it becomes untenable to sustain long term. This, in turn, has a direct correlation to decreased morale. We have some of the finest police officers, firefighters, and dispatchers serving our community, and we can't afford to lose them. It's too great a cost for each of them for us to expect them to sustain this level of stress and decreased morale long term. They need to know that their jobs are secure. They have the vehicles, apparatus, and tools of their trade to execute their jobs well. Most importantly, they need to know we have their backs and trust their expertise. They have earned it. And lastly, I have a concern for our community. It's taken many years to get to where we are today, and the momentum and the trajectory is on the right path. To lose this and begin again would be a grave detriment to our community. In the past 30 days that Mr. Jelly has been our city manager, he has proven himself not to be a good fit for our city. I urge you to take the necessary steps to right this situation this evening. Thank you very much.
Good evening, members of the Palmer City Council. My name is Trey Lindstrom. I'm an assistant chief for Palmer Fire and Rescue. I am speaking tonight on my own behalf under the protection of the Whistleblower Act. I'm making a statement tonight to say that Palmer Fire and Rescue stands with Palmer Police and 9G-based Palmer Dispatch in requesting that council place Stephen Jelly on employment of Stephen Jelly. It is essential for the well-being of our community that this matter be addressed with transparency and urgency. Thank you.
That's actually the reason I came, was I to speak on that topic very neutrally. I saw that, I was like, well, yeah, no need for me to. It's just very bad over the fire station watching this. Yeah.
attorneys listening in on this. Some of them represent us, some of them represent other employees of the city of Palmer. We are preparing lawsuits. I just want to let you guys know that. And the reason that we're doing that is because we have to come to work every day worrying if today's the day that Jelly indiscriminately just takes our job because he can. He's not going to change. The proof is in all of these details that we have found for you. I sent them to you. Detective Moore did as well. If you would look over them, you'd see that this is a picture-perfect recreation of what he has done in every city that he has been in. It does not matter if it's Palmer or Ogdensburg or Jackson Hole, he's going to do the same exact thing. He won't change. He ruined Aberdeen, he ruined Fort Drum, he ruined Ogdensburg, he's going to ruin Palmer. He censors out dissenting opinions, he misrepresents timelines. He told K2U yesterday, Channel 4 News, that he saw the merger as an opportunity because the dispatchers resigned. He's lying. He misrepresented that to you. 100%. He made sure those dispatchers went away. And if you hold an executive session and investigate this and place this man on administrative leave, you will find out exactly what we're talking about. He files a manager's report emphasizing that the city council will make the ultimate decision on whether or not MACCOM will take over dispatch services. He's lying to you. He's already made this up. He's telling department directors, this is what's going to happen. If everywhere you go you're the bad guy, I hate to say it, you're the bad guy. Okay? I run into a lot of people that call me a jerk. A lot of people like me. Okay? If you run into everybody and everybody calls you a jerk, you're the bad guy. We collectively as a group represent hundreds of years of Palmer's culture and heritage. This man hasn't even spent a winter here. We're letting him come in and kick the cooler over? We're better than this. I beg of you, place this man on admin leave, call an executive session, let a completely independent third-party organization investigate this man. You're going to find out exactly what we've been talking about. That's all I got.
Joseph Rao?
I don't know how proceeding work, I've never done this before, but what I want to know is how do, so if you write the sheet of music, what in your face? This was bird.
This is audience participation. Start with your name, sir.
My name is Joseph Rao. Thank you, attorney, for what you've done. Council members, mayor, new mayors, and deputy mayors. I'm an Army veteran, former law enforcement, a retired fire chief from Southeast Alaska, and I continue to serve our community. This is my 39th year in the fire service as a volunteer. You can imagine the brotherhood in the fire service and the fire chiefs within our great state of Alaska. Well, what I've experienced after the council's choice for the new city manager, it caught me quite off guard and unexpected. I immediately started hearing reports back from down south, lower 48, from all the jurisdictions where Mr. Jelly was formerly employed. These reports couldn't be true, could they? Well, no one in their right mind would ever behave in such a manner and leave such a wave of disaster in each community. After a simple background search of my own, I was truly floored at that he was even considered for the position. I read the article where Mr. Jelly stated that he believes that Alaska will appreciate his style of leadership. Well, after hearing about the first week, it sounds like he failed by starting out as a dictator on day one. And how difficult would it have been to just start to get to know the department heads, the employees of the community, and create a seamless transition of power within the city. Well, initial assessments of the disbanding 9G base in favor of contracting with MACCOM will not save the city money. It will cost more and it'll increase response times. The question here is, why did those few 9G base dispatchers decide to jump ship in the first place? Could it be because of Mr. Jelly? Well, on behalf of my family, friends within Palmer, within the Mat-Su borough, and throughout the state of Alaska, I recommend releasing Mr. Jelly from employment as the City of Palmer's city manager and revisit the policy of hiring according to the former HR manager. Because this is going to cost everybody way too much. Thank you for your time.
Jackie, go for it.
Mayor and City Council, my name is Jackie Goforth, and for once I'm not talking about the library books. I want you to know that I was a government manager for 25 years, and I have dealt with two of the biggest unions in the nation. They are the American Postal Workers Union and the National Association of Letter Carriers. I know exactly what union members are like. I know exactly how to manage them. They tried to remove me twice. I was found not guilty, because if you're not guilty, you're not guilty. So I have no love of anything that union members say up front. I have no love of what anybody says up front because of the COVID. Anybody in charge. So I want to wait and see. But I want you to know that I was the chairperson of the recall that removed 3 people because they tried to go after our police chief. And there is nothing I will not do to stop that man from trashing this city. Do you understand? Do you understand the anger the city is feeling right now? To place our city chief on admin leave today? We recalled 3 people because they were trying to just put a committee in charge to watch over what he did. And this man put him on admin leave today? I'm sorry. I don't do emotion. I don't do tears. I do facts and data. And this man is dangerous. He's a problem. And if you do not put him on admin leave, you can look for a recall. Thank you.
Colette? Is it Thibodeau? Thibodeau, sorry.
Okay, all right, City Council members. In light of tonight, I've seen some different things, some support that I appreciate, but I have to start with what I wrote from my heart. Shame on you. Shame on you for not doing your job in the best interest of your community. You need to answer for your decision to hire someone so destructive, and with a simple Google search, see what you are getting everyone involved in. You have invited a cancer that will destroy everything in its path. You are destroying officer safety, public safety, any form of trust and morale, and you will be left with a vast and ugly void. And he won't stick around to see this through. He will collect his check and move on to the next sucker. I worked for Palmer PD at 9G Base for 20 years, and I only left a year and a half ago to pursue a supervisor position in another department. But Palmer PD and fire is still part of my family. I pretty much grew up with this crew. And I know for a fact that Palmer has always expected and received extremely high standard of care and protection. I know that what the citizens expected of Palmer PD would not be tolerated or acceptable in other communities nearby. They don't have the capacity to handle many of the personal touches that a smaller community offers. City of Palmer has been very spoiled, and you will see that fade with what Jelly wants to do to the department. I have been in their shoes 20-some years ago when AST decided to disband their dispatch and go to MATCOM. It's a stressful situation not knowing where your job is going to be next after you've sacrificed so much for the department and the betterment of this society. Now, I'm not trying to, there was many regrets going to MATCOM. And I can talk to anybody about that. I'm not slamming MATCOM, but they are faced with their own struggles. Their staffing shortages are not going to get any better by adding more and more to their plates. Running the dispatch center into the ground with false sense of security is never going to work. Overworked dispatchers can and will be wiped out by one simple cold virus or Taco Tuesday. And then who will be there for officers, first responders, or the public? It's the worst kind of liability. And then you will hear nothing will be fixed until someone important dies. Are you or one of your family members important enough to take that risk? How will officers be able to make those split-second decisions if they don't know that the city they sacrifice has their back? Please remove this cancer that is tearing your city apart from the inside out before it's too late. His very obvious record stands for itself. He's been censured unanimously by 350,000 members of the International Association of Firefighters, among many other reports of being tyrannical, chaotic, and unqualified. I will be the voice of those silenced, the dispatchers, the officers, and the first responders. We will support United Base, Palmer Police, and Fire. Shame on you. Do what is right. Jelly doesn't deserve to work at McDonald's, let alone at the city. And how many times have we come to your houses and your businesses and helped you guys out? Please take this into consideration. This is really an important step, and you guys were all watching.
Wesley Arts? Oh, it's Wes.
Wesley Arts, Palmer Bar. I don't have a lot written out like a lot of the other people here. Just to let you know, I do support our police and our fire department. Starting off, dispatch times. If the dispatch center, when I call 911, it takes 10 minutes plus for them to respond. When I call Palmer Dispatch, I can get them to respond in less than a minute. I call the police dispatch for a lot of different things. If I see someone walking down the street, I call Palmer Dispatch. It's not necessarily related to the bar at all. We have the police chief to find out that he's suspended. I am very bothered by that. This is a person that I have worked with to clean up the downtown. That I would communicate when we found needles downtown, when we were dealing with petty crime downtown, and now an ally's gone. What's going to happen to the rest of the first responders out there once he's gone? I'm worried about all of them because I have the police do walkthroughs in my bar. I have first responders and firefighters come to my place and eat. I'm worried about all of them. That's some of the stuff that I'm worried about. This is about community. Some of the other stuff, when I was looking at the city manager's report, I do not like the idea of outsourcing to the borough. This is the same thing that happened to outsource to them. So please keep Palmer. And I'm really worried about, and I'm really worried that the police chief's not on duty. Please, for the community, do the right thing. Thank you.
Janet Kincaid.
My name is Janet Kincaid, and I came with a little different mission. I came to thank the City Council. I thank you all for serving. Tonight is an example of how difficult it can be. I don't live in the city, so I don't get to vote, but I do get to support candidates that I like, and I'm really glad that John and Victoria are on, and I do thank Pam for serving so long. My family owns about 8 or 9 pieces of commercial property within the city, so I do have a vested interest, and I'm really proud that we live in a democracy where we can hear people and air their things. There's no fear of retaliation, and we have the means to take corrective action, so I'm very grateful for that. And thank you all. I'm very proud to be Palmerite.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and City Council. This is what I was going to, I'm not talking about books either. It's
Your name.
I did.
Okay.
I did.
Okay.
Okay. Very brave, Madam Attorney. I'm glad you did it. It took a lot of guts because there could be repercussions if this isn't dealt with properly. And I do ask the City Council to deal with this. You've heard the best of our, or I shouldn't say the best, but really good people from our community tell you what's going on. So please deal with it. I mean, I've heard things here and there, but what I've heard tonight is very convincing, very telling. A person that takes everything under his own control, there's a problem here. There's a problem, big problem. And then he doesn't let anybody talk to their superiors or anybody around him. That's a huge problem. Red lights going off all over the place. It does put our community at risk to keep this man where he is. Don't give him a check, though. When he leaves, say yes. Don't let the door hit you in the butt on the way out. Don't give him a check. He doesn't deserve a check. Thank you.
Lori Koppenberg.
I cede my time to the public safety staff that is in this room tonight, so they have time to share their
Okay.
position.
Cindy Hudgens.
Anybody here that wants to talk that's part of, that's not on the list, if they want to take the time to bring on time that they want to talk, I'm giving them time.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So Cindy's,
Okay.
yes.
Good evening, City Council. And for one thing, I'm really confused as to why a resume is not checked out. I don't understand that. I mean, anywhere a resume is checked out. A person's background is checked out. You don't just hire somebody to run the city without even looking into their background. I'm so confused as to, I know city manager has duties. Any position has duties. And you can't just move in and start taking everybody else's and run the whole city. How was he allowed to do this? Who let him do this? Why didn't somebody put a stop to that? I just don't even understand that. I don't think that he should be put on administrative leave now and checked out. He has proven who he is. I think that everybody needs to take control of their own jobs and their own duties and give him the boot. I mean, he has already proven with his background that he is a destroyer. Do we want Palmer destroyed too, like the other cities that he's destroyed? Get him out of here. No, let's wait and see. Just get him out of here. Anyway, that's all I have to say tonight. Thank you.
Linda. It says Linda S. I forget how to pronounce your last name.
My name is Linda Spohn. I strongly support Palmer Police and Fire and dispatchers and don't want these changes made that this city manager is trying to implement. Palmer Police and Fire are already doing an excellent job, but this is not an easy job by any means. These people need our support. Officers taking their vehicles home are helping to keep residential neighborhoods safe and are ready to respond to emergencies. We need these people, and they don't need any additional stress that their jobs don't already provide. This city manager would do well to get on the fastest airplane out of Alaska. He is not well liked. This manager has got to go, and we expect you to immediately take care of this situation. The secrecy and controlling should not be in Palmer city government. Taxpayers deserve transparency. In addition, maybe you should have put the librarians on administrative leave also, instead of giving them a raise for putting obscene books in the minors section of Palmer Public Library. Thank you.
Nathaniel?
Red Daggett. I'm a business owner in Palmer.
Wait a second. We're going.
She said I could talk, right?
We're going down the list. We've got a whole list here for.
First responders to talk.
We're going down the list of people who have signed up. Would you like to sign up? Sure. Okay. Yeah. I presume you're Nathaniel, right?
Yes, Nathaniel Lutz. Do you want me to wait for him or?
Go ahead and wait. There you go.
Okay.
Go ahead. Start with your name again.
Good afternoon. Good evening, council members. I am Nathaniel Lutz, resident, and probably putting myself at risk. I'm also an employee of the city of Palmer, as well as a member of Palmer Fire and Rescue. I think it's easy to grab a pitchfork and go after Stephen Jelly. I support everybody that's gotten up here and had first-person experience with him. I have not. It's been limited. However, I will say, during my tenure at the state of Alaska in multiple departments, previously as a small business owner, as countless positions as managerial, supervisory, not only in the public, private sector. I have hired, 50, 60 people. I've fired 20, 30. I've analyzed, given reviews, been a part of my own review, been a part of other people's review, public, private. I think, honestly, at this point, nobody other than maybe two people, and I won't be as diplomatic as everybody else, as a member of a hiring panel, should be ashamed. I applied 3 times. I'm a 3-time applicant for the city manager. Now, rightfully so, I was wildly underqualified for it. But you know what? I threw my hat in there. And each and every time I've done this, you make a list. You have a council meeting, you make a list, you vet people, you have minimum quals, and guess what? As somebody who doesn't hold as high position as you guys, I researched every single one of them. All the way going back when you first hired Moosey. I was part of that applicant pool. And guess what? 30, 35 minutes of just little of me doing research. And then second time around, a little bit of research on everybody else. Because you know what? As an applicant, I want to know who I'm up against. So why am I doing more research as an unqualified position, going and reaching for a better position to better my city and myself and my constituents and my fellow employees? Why am I doing more research than you? It's shameful. And I mean, like I said, I'm probably putting myself out there because I'll be another applicant, whether that's 10 years down the road. But here's the deal. You have a burden to vet people. And the fact that it's come to this it's embarrassing. It's just embarrassing. I don't know what else to say, but you guys really need to self-reflect on the decisions you've made because it's not that difficult.
Hello, my name is Cecilia. I have lived in Alaska and in the Valley for almost 20 years. I own a home. I work in the Valley in government and I vote. And I cannot believe what's going on. It saddens me to see some of you looking down and talking down to people. We absolutely love the Palmer police, the firefighters. I have an 18-year-old autistic son that I feel better about him walking with his dog and riding his tricycle around Palmer. I cannot believe. How did this guy get hired? How did that happen? It is a serious matter to hire someone to run a city like ours and any other city. I am part of panels of interviewing people. Did you guys do that? I cannot believe it. I pay my taxes. I rely on the people that are given the power you have by us to do the right thing. I couldn't believe it when I read it, but then I heard all these brilliant people talk. And I'm like, it's true. I just left my job. I'm exhausted. I'm fighting cancer, but I'm here to ask you to do the right thing. You're all, none of you look like you're newbies. Are you gonna allow this guy to bulldoze this town and all of us with it? I am not an angry person, but I cannot believe it. I have nothing else to say, but do your job, and we vote, and in this city we care, and we will continue to support them. Thank you.
We have a public hearing, resolution number 24-03. Sorry. All right, public hearing for resolution number 24-038. A resolution of the Palmer City Council establishing fees for aircraft parking on the newly constructed Apron E as in Echo at the Warren Bud Woods Palmer Municipal Airport. So we will go ahead and open this audience participation. Anyone wishing to speak to this resolution can come forward to do so. Okay. We'll close the audience participation. I see John there. What's the wishes of the council for this?
Move to approve.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Does council want any more information or?
Yes, please.
John, would you help us out here?
Yes, sir.
I don't know if it's on.
It
should be. Okay. So, Councilman Cooper.
Thanks for coming, John.
Yes, sir.
On your summary statement background, you're proposing additional fees of up to 150 and 550 annual. And I see that we had charged similar size parking for $32 a month. Now, does the new one gonna include electricity? I mean, why do we have the increase? And do you have did we ever charge annual fees before, or did we just do monthly?
To answer your first question, yes, we do have electrical service at 16 parking spots at the end of Yukon Street, where Yukon and Golcana kind of come together by the Arboretum. That was part of the new construction project that's been ongoing for the last couple of years. And we're charging more to cover the electricity. As part of that also, that ramp is on a separate meter so that we can determine how much electricity that ramp is using. What I'm proposing tonight is I'm sorry, and the second question was, why are we charging?
No, not why. I mean, we have an annual fee. Now you're.
We do have we have the option of a monthly, a quarterly, and an annual fee in the fee schedule.
And have we charged annual fee for prior to this parking?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Not for this parking.
No, I mean,
but for other parking spots.
For the other ones, and we're now asking for $550 now, or quarterly, or monthly, or
it's discounted as we get into
longer.
Quarterly and annual.
Okay,
We
all right.
discount a little bit.
All right, thank you.
Anyone else for questions here? Okay. Well, thank you, sir. We ready to vote then? Madam Clerk, if you could call the roll, please.
Mayor Carrington,
Yes.
Councilmember Angelotti,
Yes.
Councilmember Hudson,
Yes.
Councilmember Tudor,
Yes.
Councilmember Best,
Yes.
Councilmember Alcantara,
Yes.
Councilmember Cooper.
Yes.
Unanimous?
All right. Next is action memorandum number 24-058, transfer of restaurant eating place liquor license number 3767 from Humdingers to Sweet Gypsy. What's the wishes of the council?
Move to approve.
Second.
So moved and seconded. Is there any questions? Yes.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, on page 21 of the agenda, under Department of Community Development, it looks like there's no check under either box for code compliant, and I was wondering if that's a mistake or if that's something that we can have the city manager address.
Well, we might have to take,
City manager does not want to address it.
so I guess we can take a break. Yeah.
Is this from, no, this is from the one that. Yeah. Right, but if there's no check under.
I don't think he's questioning your question. I think he's trying to explain
I was just curious, and I noticed that, and I've never seen that before.
ready to go, Josh? Ready? Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right. Okay. Back to this matter at hand. So it does have Brad's signature on there, that microscopic scribble. But if you want, we can postpone this to the next meeting if you like. Can you hear me? They're muttering, they're not actually talking. The signature, it's microscopic, yes. Okay. So do you want to postpone this to the next meeting or call for the vote?
I'd like to vote, please.
Okay.
Councilmember Best?
Yes.
Councilmember Tudor?
Yes.
Councilmember Hudson?
Yes.
Councilmember Anzalati?
Yes.
Mayor Carrington?
Yes.
Unanimous.
All right. No unfinished business, new business, record of items placed on the table.
Deputy Mayor's election process document and document from Hillary from the PD.
Okay. All right, next we have audience participation. And, all right. So we'll open part 2 of audience participation. Jim Goodman. Okay. Mark Spohn. I'm going down the list. I was going down the list, and we've got him signed up. So, right. I'm trying to get through everybody at least once. Yeah. So, Mark.
Good evening. Obviously, we didn't see his resume, so I'm assuming it must be extremely falsified because you people must have looked at that. That's just an assumption, so that's probably not a good way to start out. But how could this guy have gotten in here is beyond anything I can imagine. You know, the last time there was an issue at the police department was when those mad mothers or whatever they call themselves were trying to do away with control and all that baloney. I mean, you don't do away with the Palmer Police Department the way it's run now and try to circumvent all that. That's unbelievable. And all the first responders. What's more critical? Look at all the cities in this United States that have been ruined. I mean, I can rattle them off, but every one of you knows which one's got a problem. Look at how they're treating the police with the new administration in Anchorage. Come on, we got to do better. This is Palmer. And cowardness when you're getting called out and you run away and you don't show up. I see an empty chair. You need to get rid of this person immediately and start over and do your due diligence. I mean, every one of you are representing one of the marquee place here in Palmer. And if a mistake was made, okay, we all make mistakes, but this is huge. So do the right thing, and he should no longer be here. Get rid of him tonight. Thank you.
Brad Daggett. Okay. Thank you.
So my name is Brad Daggett. I'm a business owner here in Palmer. I'm in the unique position of being a reserve officer for Palmer for the last 6 years. It's very disappointing. The good part about being a reserve officer is I can see the inner workings and be a citizen. So if anybody's a whistleblower, it would be me. I have to tell you, what I have seen over the years is Palmer going over and above. These guys don't get paid as much as Wasilla and other places. And yet, we had short staffing just a year ago. Remember that? 2 years ago? People remember that, right? Well, there was one person on duty, and these guys didn't even take days off sometimes to go out there and do that, right? In a matter of 30 days, I understand if we did diligence or we didn't on this guy, and you know what? Mistakes happen. But I gotta tell you, I managed people for 30 years. I am what you would call I was a person that came in and fired people. That was what I was hired to do. But I didn't even do this. I mean, holy cow. 30 years. I mean, Chief Sheldon's been here 20-some years. He has not even been in here written up, has he? This is a wrong today. I will not be silenced. I live in this community. This is terrible. I've never heard of such a thing. Anytime I hear somebody say, well, you can't talk, you know some bad stuff's going on, guys. At the end of the day, you know what? It was a mistake. Write it up, do something different, but make a change. But I gotta tell you that you really need to install the chief back ASAP, because I have no iron in the fire. I don't get paid by you all. But I have to tell you that somebody who speaks up for his people, you are the elected people in Palmer. We are the electorate. Right thing.
Is there anyone else that hasn't had a chance to speak for audience participation? Mike? Oh, okay. Go ahead, Mike's slow.
Mike is slow?
He's behind you. He's the recording.
I will say that your chairs are a little narrow.
Okay. Please start with your name, sir.
My name is Perry Morgan. I'm a short-timer with Palmer Police, but I have been in law enforcement for 30-plus years. And I'm not here to make any accusations or anything like that. But I will say, of the 30-plus years I've been in law enforcement, the 2 best years I've ever had is working at Palmer Police. This is a great community. We have great people here. I thoroughly enjoy coming to work. I enjoy seeing the citizens, and believe it or not, the citizens wave to us. And they use all their fingers, and it's really wonderful. The heart of that is our chief, Chief Sheldon. He is the best man I have ever worked for, bar none, in 30-something years. He stands up for his people, and that's important because you guys know when we are at work, things we do, even if we do it right and by the book, can be considered wrong in the public eye because it's not politically popular. And that man back there loves his people. He loves them enough that he's going to stand up for them. If they're in the right, they will stand up. He will stand up for his people. I just want that to be known when you guys are considering what to do with him. I really suggest that you reinstate him and then start supporting him. He is a good man, and this town deserves him. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mike Molesky. I live in beautiful downtown Palmer, and I'm going to start by thanking Janet Kincaid. I have known Janet for 44 years, and she's never disappointed. Tonight, when she spoke, she thanked you, and she spoke in a positive way, inviting you to do the work you need to do. And I have known 7 city managers through those years, and I have interviewed many of them, and I'm struck by the quantity of information that's being offered to you, beginning with your attorney, who you have hired to do what I believe she did tonight. But I also know that it's important that you act not precipitously, but in a studied way to ensure that due process is offered to anyone. Now, I mentioned at a break to a couple of council members that my opinion is, it's my opinion, that to this point, This was a set of things that perhaps the manager has been responsible for. But from now on, not only is the burden of the decision on you, but if there should be anything that happens as a result of the action of the manager, it will be on you, because you chose to ignore an opportunity to decide whether you had sufficient information. And once again, I'll underline, I'll start, you have hired an attorney to offer you advice, and she gave you a report that was significant and that has been buttressed by many community members, both inside and outside, the police and fire departments and so on, who have indicated their concern. I mean, that's, in all the years I think that I have covered council meetings, this was the most extreme example of that happening. I know there have been other events, but this one is special. And so I'm just encouraging you to do what you have been elected to do. Thank you.
Is there anyone else who hasn't spoken for audience participation? Okay. Sure.
My name is Jacqueline Durway. I am a former police dispatcher at Palmer Police Department. I am a 10-year dispatcher that started off her career with the Soldotna State Troopers, dispatching 21 police, fire, and EMS agencies. I moved to Anchorage Police Department, where I worked there for 2 years. I decided to become a citizen out in the valley, and I live in Big Lake, but I commuted every day to Palmer because I was passionate about a small town feel and a place that felt like family. I want to wholeheartedly, completely contrast to what the city manager Jelly put in a recent article out to KTUU about the police dispatchers leaving because they wanted to go to MATCOM. What I will say to that is that it is a wholeheartedly an untruth, a lie. There are so many men and women at this department that are my family, that are so highly trained and capable at their jobs, that even though I didn't come here to speak tonight, I felt impassioned to do so. My dispatch supervisor, who you heard from earlier, Whitney, was completely cut out of her own center, was forced away from being able to speak to us, even though an agreement was made that she was on FMLA. She was told that she was no longer allowed to work, and if she did speak out or even reach out to her employees, including her direct supervisor designee, that she would be in trouble. And I only know this from people that are close to her and spoke with her as friends. But the direct effect that it had on our center was a complete lack of any responsibility and accountability for what was being done in our city. It was a lack of community feeling. It was a lack of support, and it left with uncertainty. If you've ever been in a position where you feel uncertain about your livelihood or the people that you're supporting or the decisions that are made on your behalf, then you know what I'm talking about. And I think that you should be removing him from his position. He has no business here, and these people deserve better from you.
You haven't spoken yet?
Yeah, no, I don't speak well anyways.
Okay, well, then go ahead and start with your name, and you have 3 minutes.
Okay. So, my name's Orrin Peterson. I live in Alaska. I'm in this area. So, all I've seen is very well-educated, business owners, people that are been here forever. I'm completely the opposite. Haven't been here very long, maybe 7 years in total, living in Alaska in this area. And everyone here is very upstanding. And what I can say is one thing I have a lot of experience in is with law enforcement. I may or may not know the inside of a jail cell better than most everyone here. I have interactions from Washington, Montana, Wyoming, South Dakota, Minnesota, and maybe somewhere beyond landing in like Florida, but I've dealt with law enforcement. Not from the good side, but what I can say is AST Wasilla PD and Palmer has been the best law enforcement that I've ever dealt with from the wrong side. It's as simple as speeding tickets, etc. Like professionalism, and it's completely outweighs Anchorage, like by far. There's many times I've called people in, and the response from, I don't know what it's called, NIG or whatever base it is, and that's in this Palmer area, as I've had zero issues with it. And no matter which side of the law I'm on, it's gone very well. Every interaction's left with a handshake and a thank you, or maybe try better next time. And I've got a lot of handshakes. I've helped people out in the windstorms. I had an officer empty his wallet because I helped someone, because no one else would come out. Insurance companies wouldn't send anyone, no towing companies would do anything. Because my business that I run is a mobile mechanic, like emergency roadside business. And out in that weather, no one's calling, you're just out doing work, helping people. That was my interaction there, and I've made calls for service for myself more than once, and it's been nothing short of amazing. And I think we're all beyond trying to say you guys made a mistake or whoever's fault it is. I didn't know what the word politics meant until like 2 days ago. I didn't know this was a thing. I just thought cities ran on their own and it went well. But to find out that my mechanic shop, may burn down or may not because of one person who gets canned. And what I do know is no matter who you put on administrative leave or no matter who he fires, no matter what happens, like this police chief, he's still going to do his job. He's going to do everything in his power to serve the community and the people around him just without the uniform on. And I think it's very apparent. Everyone will keep saying it, but it's apparent we made a mistake. And we made a mistake as a whole because us at a city, I don't know how this stuff works, but you guys got appointed. You guys didn't choose to do it yourself. Someone made a decision to do it. So the responsibility is on the people.
That's your 3 minutes.
Okay, 3 minutes and 2 seconds. But thank you for everything you do. And I don't word or politic well, but thank you very much.
Yeah, your audience, right?
Thank you. Pam Moline, former council member and citizen of the city of Palmer. I come before you tonight to not make excuses for the council, but I am willing to accept my part as responsible for what has occurred here. That being said, I've had a lot of conversations over the last several weeks. I've seen the patterns of communication. I've also done my own investigations. And I'm highly concerned, very, very, very concerned. What I see here is true. It is a pattern of rinse and repeat. We as a city cannot afford to be subjected to this liability. Our people are valuable. We can't lose these people. They obviously care. So I just implore you to absolutely take the necessary action, whether it be to do administrative leave, whether it be to put a hold on responsibilities while you can investigate. But my time on the council, I do know that 2 of you can call a special meeting. And I just implore you to open your heart, take a look at, remove the barriers and the pride. Not saying that you have pride, but please look into this and see the patterns that are occurring here, especially the communications that are happening with the city employees. It's disturbing. I can tell you that if any of my employees, or if I talk to my partners that I do business with in the way that he has done that I've seen and witnessed in writing, he'd be gone just like that. So I want to encourage all of you to keep speaking. Keep speaking. Again, I apologize for my part in this. And I just hope that we can do the right thing here. And I leave you with that.
Is there anyone else who hasn't had a chance to speak?
First of all, my name is Frank Bell. I just want to start off by thanking the city attorney for doing something extremely brave tonight and speaking out, as well as all the first responders that have come here to speak out when the risk of retaliation is a legitimate possibility. It takes a lot of guts to do that. Also, despite the fact that we've agreed on many things in the past, I do want to thank Pam Moline for her service on the city council. It's a very difficult job you guys do. You guys have had plenty of evidence tonight that there's a pretty universal opinion among the community when it comes to City Manager Jelly. If you need any more, I would just say that I fully agree with the testimony of both Jackie Goforth and Karen Lewis tonight. But one thing I do want to make clear is that I understand, and I think everybody should understand, that you guys may not have the ability, at least at this time, to do what Pam Moline just did, which is to say we screwed up when we hired this man. But we know all of you, and we know that you guys know that. I understand there could be liability issues. You could be opening yourself up to litigation of some kind if you were to say that publicly at this time, but I just want you guys to know that you still have our support. And if you do make the right decision in this case, you know, a lot of people say, and I agree, that, you know, one of the best measures of characters is what you do when things are extraordinarily difficult. And we have faith that you will make that right decision. And when you do, we will all still love you and support you. And I just think it's important for you guys to hear that. You've taken a little bit of a beating tonight, and unfortunately, it's probably justified. But we're all here for you guys just like you guys are here for us. So please do the right thing, and we'll still be here. Thank you.
Is there anyone else who hasn't had a chance to speak for audience participation?
All I can say is, we know you'll make the right decision. It's not, we're not questioning it. We the people understand that. I have a thing for it.
Okay, I guess I'll close audience participation. Next is council member comments.
Mr. Mayor, may I make a request to have my council member comments first, please? You know I don't usually ask for this.
Yes, it's the quiet one asking to speak. So, Councilwoman Anzalotti.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I really do appreciate that. I have a lot that I want to say. First, I would like to say thank you guys for your graciousness with me as I was gone for an extra meeting and did not plan to be gone. There's a long story involving a tire falling off a stolen car and me driving up the Alcan by myself. So if you want to know more, I will tell you. Yeah, so I've been gone for a month, and obviously a lot has happened while I was gone as well. I wanted to start by saying thank you, Pam, for your service on the council. It's been an honor to work with you, and you've been such a great role model to me in the way you handle issues on the council, and just as an older mentor to look up to, so thank you. I wanted to say congrats to John Alcantara, welcome back, and then welcome to Victoria Hudson. I'm excited to work with you on the council. I would like to ask for council support to place the city manager on administrative leave based on, to give us time to evaluate comments brought forward tonight and comments that have been brought to our attention in the past. And this is to protect our staff during a time of deliberation and investigation until this matter is brought before us again. And this is also to protect the safety of our residents for essential services being met, and to mitigate potential significant liability for the city in terms of lawsuits, financial costs, and our reputation. This is particularly important since we have a whistleblower situation on our hands, and I want to avoid any legal liability toward the city of Palmer in that area. I would like to remind everyone, including the city manager, that as stated in Palmer Municipal Code 2.10.030, his responsibility is to implement the policy of the city as established by the council. So I would like to ask for council support for that.
Second.
I guess I would rule that out of order in the sense that we've had things brought to us that we haven't investigated. We haven't asked for his side of the story, and so I think we do process. Well, I'm sorry, this is our part of the meeting, guys.
If that is the case, which I would disagree, but if that is the case, then I would like to ask for council support to instruct the city manager, who works directly for us, to make no decisions relating to staff, equipment, or budget whatsoever until we can meet and discuss this issue again.
Second.
Okay, Councilman Alcantara?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I don't see where it's out of order at all to put somebody on administrative leave while we go into executive session and to find out what's going on. I'm gonna tag on to comments made from my former city council member. I was a biggest advocate for Stephen Jelly, so I'll own the fact of making potential mistakes. He was a city manager for 2.5 years in a like-sized city in upstate New York. Same kind of weather, same kind of budget, same kind of things. He presented himself very well. Obviously, it's time to realize the mistake was made. That's my personal opinion. I'll say it in council member comments, but I don't see any reason why we can't proceed with administrative leave and allow us to have time to have an investigation and address things in executive session.
I still would call that out of order in that there has to be some due process here. We haven't even heard about his budget.
May I ask where he is right now? Can we ask him to have, does he have anything he wants to say? Is that appropriate at this time?
Come on, if you're wanting to have a meeting to do something, then suggest a date.
Before that meeting, I would like to ask for support to instruct him to make no decisions that regard staff equipment or budget whatsoever, because he works for us.
You really need to have time specific if you're going to do something, so let's start with the meeting.
Okay, well then I would like to start with asking for council support to call for a special meeting. An emergency meeting, actually. I changed that to an emergency meeting to discuss the city manager's contract. I would like council support for that. For tomorrow.
Second.
I can make that.
I don't know.
What?
What was the?
Can we do tomorrow at 6 p.m.? Is that enough time? Is that enough time?
Is that how that works with emergency? Councilman Cooper?
Is there a 24-hour requirement for emergency meeting?
Madam Clerk, I think it's, with an emergency meeting, if I remember right, it has to do with everyone has to either attend or give notice that they were informed of it, since you're all here.
And that's all?
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
Do we vote on that?
I mean, it's discussed his contract, is that an executive session? That's the question.
Okay.
If I need to add something to that, let me know.
All right, so a meeting tomorrow at 6 will include an executive session. All right.
Discuss personnel, he has the opportunity to
Right.
have it in public.
Right. Okay. So is that everything we need? Why don't we'll call a roll call vote.
Councilmember Cooper?
Yes.
Councilmember Alcantara?
Yes.
Councilmember Best?
Yes.
Councilmember Tudor?
Yes.
Councilmember Hudson?
Yes.
Councilmember Angeloni?
Yes.
No. All right. Is that all your council comments?
No, it is not.
Okay.
At this point, is it appropriate to ask for council support to instruct the city manager not to make any decisions regarding staff, equipment, or budget whatsoever until we come together at the meeting tomorrow and discuss his contract?
Second.
So is this going? Hmm?
Mr. Mayor?
So.
May I? Oh,
No,
I'm
this-
sorry. Can you all hear me? Oh. Can I ask the city attorney's opinion on that request?
If I may reiterate, so to make sure I understand the request specifically, you are asking if you can make specific tasks to the city manager. Is that correct?
Yes.
The city code allows for the city manager and myself that we work directly for the city council. We can be tasked with anything within the scope of our employment to do or not to do something.
So this is appropriate to ask him to not make a decision?
In my opinion, yes.
Then I would like to ask for council support to instruct the city manager who works for us to make no decisions regarding staff, equipment, or budget whatsoever until the council has time to come together again at the meeting tomorrow to discuss his contract. Thank you.
Second.
All right.
Do we need to call a roll on that?
Oh, yeah. We have, yeah, go ahead and call the roll.
Councilmember Tudor,
Yes.
Councilmember Alcantara,
Yes.
Councilmember Best.
Yes.
Okay, I missed one. Oh, Cooper again. Councilmember Cooper,
Yes.
Councilmember Hudson,
Yes.
Councilmember Angelotti,
Yes.
Mayor Carrington.
Yes.
Unanimous.
Okay. Do you have more comments,
I do have
Councilmember
more comments.
Angelotti?
You know what? I'm not sorry. Okay, so, I and Deputy Mayor Tudor have prepared a resolution for termination of the city manager's contract based on convenience to the city of Palmer, as laid out in the city manager's contract, section 3A. This will be turned into the city clerk and be put on the next possible agenda, which in this case would be the emergency meeting tomorrow if possible. This is not a reflection of performance, a negotiation, or an evaluation. We believe this is the best way forward for Palmer and gives us time to properly evaluate this issue while being prepared to make whatever decision we deem necessary to salvage and maintain the character and values of our beloved city moving forward. We make no excuses for and do not support unethical and borderline illegal leadership. And at this point, there is no need to make any further explanation. This is a difficult but simple choice. Palmer is moving in a different managerial direction.
Okay, resolutions have to be with a regular meeting and noticed with an agenda.
Okay, then it will appear on the next meeting agenda, next available meeting agenda.
Okay.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Can I say one more thing? I'm sorry, this is the last one, I promise. Okay. I also just would like to add that I don't appreciate baseless accusations, and I will continue to meet with department heads and city staff on my own time, as I have for 3 years now, and ask them individually what their needs are and what thoughts they have for the upcoming budget. And not only is this the nature of my position, but keeping informed and communicative on all fronts is imperative for a well-rounded and balanced approach to the budget, and I do not apologize for that.
I'd be careful, you might get put on administrative sleep.
Okay. All right.
I'm done, thank you.
Councilman Best, council comments.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor, excuse me. Tonight has been a lot of emotion, and I appreciate the knowledge that has been shared. We've been in constant communication with many folks out in the community, expressing concerns. much of it started before he even arrived here. And this is where it has been difficult as a council person to discern what is conjecture, what is perception, loss of power, authority, different managerial styles. It's been a process that we have all had to take a little bit of time to try to absorb, try to understand. And I appreciate everybody's patience with us. It is the crux of being a open governance where sometimes it's messy, sometimes you splash about, sometimes you make the right decisions, sometimes you don't make the right decisions. But it's also about following the proper policies and procedures. And we as council members, we are one body speaking with one voice from the dais. We can't always have our opinion and we go and get to talk to somebody and something happens. It comes from the vote and the decisions of the body itself. We also have a responsibility to protect the entity of the city itself. And within that are also the employees. And so I don't want the employees to feel that you're not being listened to. There's also a pragmatic way that we have to go about some of this stuff, that it is cumbersome and messy at times, and I appreciate everybody participating in it, and continue, I encourage you all to continue to participate. But we also have to have a very defined understanding of the situation, and it's going to take some time. So it's not going to be an immediate reaction, and I wouldn't want to live in a community that you had an immediate reaction, because that's just pitchforks and tar and feather, you know. And we can't get into those kind of situations. If we're going to govern ourselves responsibly, we have to take a little bit of time. So I appreciate everybody.
Councilman Cooper.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm not going to preach to the choir. I just want to say that Dwayne, he and I have known each other since he was like a reserve or brand new officer when I was mayor, and I have full faith and confidence in you. And I've told you that before, and I will till we no longer are in communication. Pam, you and I didn't agree on a lot of things, but I sincerely thank you for the discussions that we've had and all the service that you've provided to the city. And I really appreciate it. And good luck with your grandkids. I know you'll enjoy them. John, Victoria, congratulations. I'm looking forward to serving with you for the next few years. I will be gone out of the state for the next 2 meetings. Try to be on Zoom on the second one. Family matters are becoming more important than what's going on here. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay. Councilman Alcantara.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. First off, the good things. Pamela, thanks for your service. Really appreciate it. As Mr. Cooper said, sometimes don't agree, but always we're agreeable to each other, and I appreciate that. Victoria, welcome aboard. Wow. Hope you don't have too much buyer's remorse. But and I thank the citizens of Palmer for reelecting me as well. But I got to say that, I've known Stephen Gilly for about a month and a half. I'll own it that I was an advocate for his hire. As I said before, he's a city manager in a place very similar to Palmer. But what I will say is that I've known Virginia Calvert for 10 years. I've known Keith Barkwood for 10 years. I've known Trey Lindstrom for 20, Janet Kincaid for 40. I've heard the groundswell of people saying, and Orrin, as you'll find out, politics sometimes makes strange bedfellows, and it did tonight in the sense of people agreeing on what's going on. So it's unfortunate, and we'll have a chance to hear it. I'm really disappointed. We pay our city manager very well. For him not to be here is frustrating. You need to have a thick skin. You get paid a big paycheck. And I'm also a little more than angered that never heard anything about our police chief being placed on admin leave until the police chief himself came and announced it. So there's some frustrating things that go beyond just what we've heard tonight. But I appreciate you all showing up tonight. I know there's a lot of other things that we'd rather be doing on a Tuesday evening, so thank you for your time. Thank you for your support. As I said earlier, welcome Victoria aboard, and we'll have to work and get to the bottom of things. Thanks for the time.
Councilman Tudor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor, just want to say thank you for allowing everyone to speak. I think that was really important to have the community come and be able to speak to the council. We are the elected officials, and we need to make sure that we're open and available to everyone. And Pamela, you've been amazing on the council. You've been a mentor and an incredible inspiration. Thank you for all you've done. And John, it's great to have you sit next to me again. Sorry, Councilman Cantro. Yeah, well, yeah, for now, but yeah, it's great to have you back. I'm happy. Councilwoman Hudson, congratulations. Welcome to City Council. I wish it was on better terms today. This is kind of a thing, but you're going to do amazing. Just want to say thank you. And I'm deeply humbled by the vote tonight to be deputy mayor. I have some big shoes to fill. You did an amazing job, and I'm going to do my best on this position and make sure I bring pride to Palmer. And again, thank you to everyone who brought these issues to light. It's not easy coming here and talking in front of cameras and in front of people like this. It takes a lot of courage, and I appreciate that. We as a council have some work to do, and we have a process that, as Councilman Best pointed out, we do have a process we need to follow to make sure that everyone gets a fair shake. And I know it can be frustrating with how slow things can go or things like that, but it's for the protection of the city and to make sure that everyone's rights are upheld. Thank you.
Councilman Hudson, Councilwoman Hudson, sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just want to thank you, everybody, for coming and sharing the things that are going on in the city. I promise all of you that I was here to listen to all of you, and that remains. I feel like I work to make sure that our city is, and what I said in the forum, safe, happy, and healthy. And as of right now, I can see where that stands. So I am here for you guys, and I am here to support you. And I just want to thank everybody for being here tonight. This is my first time, and so just thank you so much, and thank you for all the community support that you gave me through my campaign. I really appreciate it. And I just want to thank Janet, yes, and I just also want to thank Pam, and I'm just very thankful to the community for the outpouring of love and support that I've received over the last couple months. So thank you.
All right, and congrats to John and Victoria. And Janet, I think it's been 50 years I've known you. Now we're adjourned. Back when I was a teenager. At the Episcopal